now we're talking, boys.
Caitlin Clark. I didn't know a lot about her. Like, I knew who she was, obviously, but just this past year.
She is the only reason I watch basketball.
Oh, no.
No.
Women's basketball.
Truly.
Women's basketball.
No, basketball.
Truly.
I never watched the NBA before.
Really?
I swear.
I, actually tune into Caitlin Clark now. It's so dope. I mean, the Indiana Fever, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and then I remember Iowa.
No one knew what the Indiana Fever was a year ago. No, and it doesn't matter. I understand there's some OGs out there that are upset.
WNBA star Kaya Clark has made it clear she won't be used for publicity. She recently turned down an invitation to compete in the NBA All-Star Weekend's three-point challenge. But why did she say no, and how does she feel about the NBA potentially using her to grab attention? Let's dive into the details. Before we continue, if you enjoy WNBA content, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe.
When we talk about Caitlin Clark, the first time the NCAA game was on ABC was last year. So in order to give something a chance to succeed, don't bury it in NFL Sundays. Give it a chance.
Lately, there's been a lot of buzz around Kane Clark. People are discussing her impact on the WNBA and debating whether she should make the Team USA roster for the Paris Olympics. However, some commentators have used this conversation to bring up larger issues, like race, that don't really relate to Clark herself.
Whenever you think of Angel Reese, people often mention Caitlin Clark. You've said in interviews, there's no beef, but the media keeps going on. So how do you feel about that situation?
Caitlin is an amazing player, and I've always thought she was an amazing player. We've been playing each other since high school. So I think it's really just the fans, her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that are they ride for her. And I respect that respectfully, but sometimes it's very...
Caitlin Clark, star of the Indiana Fever, has made a big decision. She's chosen to skip the NBA All-Star Weekend's three-point challenge next month. Instead, she'll make her debut in the WNBA's three-point contest during the WNBA All-Star Game in July. Her representatives at EXL Sports Management confirmed that Clark is sticking to her decision to debut at the WNBA event, not the NBA's. This choice adds an interesting twist to the conversation, especially considering the buzz from last year's intense three-point showdown between Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu. Curry narrowly defeated Ionescu 29-26 in a single-round challenge, which even outshone the NBA's regular three-point contest. The event took place at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. As for Ionescu, who plays for the New York Liberty, she hasn't confirmed yet whether she'll participate in this year's NBA All-Star Weekend. She's currently playing in the new professional women's 3x3 league that launched last month. However, she has said she'll miss some games due to other commitments, including skipping Phantom Games while in Paris for the NBA Paris Games. She also plans to attend the NBA All-Star Weekend in the Bay Area. The WNBA All-Star Weekend will take place in Indianapolis at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, home of the Fever and the Indiana Pacers, on July 18th and 19th.
Back up and shoot it from further back, too.
There you go. Okay, how far can you go? Steph Curry range is no problem for you.
Yeah, no problem.
You're the best.
With just a few months left until the big event, there's a lot of buzz surrounding Caitlin Clark and her impressive performance on the court. But the WNBA's #1 overall draft pick has also found herself at the center of debates that have nothing to do with basketball, and it's frustrating for her. While Clark has played a huge role in raising the profile of women's basketball, her name has been caught up in culture wars, particularly on social media, because she's a white player. There have also been heated discussions about her game and why she didn't make the USA Basketball Olympic roster. Despite staying out of the online drama, Clark has been dragged into these debates. Now, she's addressing the controversy head-on. When asked about being involved in these debates, even though she keeps a low profile online, Clark made it clear that people should stop using her name to push harmful agendas. The Fever star emphasized that while she can't control what others do, she doesn't like how her name is being used to fuel arguments.
Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You go, girl.
A lot of people say that Caitlin Clark moves the needle. That is wrong. She is the needle.
Oh.
She dictates. She and the Indiana Fever accounted for 45% of all the broadcast value of the WNBA last season. The economic impact, $36 million. She drove to Indianapolis just by showing up. She moves because she knows people follow her no matter where she goes, and she's very strategic about dictating where her value is.
I do agree with her.
Okay.
I am just disappointed in some of the points she negated to bring up. That three-point contest between Ionescu and Steph Curry, the event was the most watched NBA All-Star Saturday night in 4 years. In 4 years. She's putting the WNBA first.
Boy, it's a different tune. Stephen A. was first on the scene with this one, though. I got to give him props for that. The acceptance of the Caitlin Clark effect. But boy, we got receipts, and boy, it's funny to see how many people were stubborn to this. And look, if you got another reason other than her color, give it to me. But how in the hell didn't people see this coming? People saw this not only coming, saw it happening, and still were like, nah. And now, since we have the power to look back retroactively, right? The 2020 hindsight, everyone could see the receipts of, whoa, Caitlin Clark was it. That was it. You got termed a sellout if you didn't say Angel Reese in the same name. I still hear people qualifying when they talk about the league. They'll throw Angel Reese in there. Ooh, that thing too loud. What's up, baby? What up? Y'all good? All right. She ain't worked out in how long? Let me stop. Oh, man. The fan.
When asked about the larger issues behind the debates surrounding her, Caitlin Clark was clear about her stance on respect and fairness in the league. She emphasized that every player in the WNBA deserves equal respect and strongly rejected the use of her name in racist or misogynistic arguments. Staying focused on her game, Clark is also making thoughtful decisions, including turning down a significant opportunity at the WNBA All-Star Weekend, which sparked a lot of discussion. Clark, who has become the biggest star in women's basketball over the past year, was invited to participate in the WNBA All-Star three-point contest. However, she chose to decline the offer, which led to some criticism. ESPN analyst David Dennis Jr. was particularly vocal, saying Clark had no excuse for turning it down. In a conversation with reporters ahead of the Skills Challenge, Clark explained her decision. She said she needed to prioritize her health and well-being after a hectic year in the sport. She acknowledged that the three-point contest wasn't an easy event to simply show up for, especially since she hadn't had much time to practice. Clark confidently stated that there would be plenty of other opportunities to compete in the future and that, for now, rest was more important. She's staying focused on what's best for her long-term success. Before we continue, quick favor, over 98% of you watch these videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing but makes a huge difference for us. Did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you. Now, back to the video.
Mention that, you want to concentrate on basketball, and definitely respect that. But when, just asking directly, when people use your name for racism, misogyny, whatever, what is your response to that?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing. I think, everybody in our world, deserves the same amount of respect. The women on our league deserve the same amount of respect. So, people should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing. It's not acceptable. But yeah, I mean, this league is the league I grew up admiring and wanting to be a part of. Like, some of the women in this league were my biggest idols and role models growing up and helped me want to achieve this moment right here that I get to play in every single night. So, just treating every single woman in this league with the same amount of respect, I think is just a basic human thing that everybody should do. Like, just be a kind person and treat them, how you would want to be treated. And, I think it's, very simple.
What was it like for that fundraiser? Like, what was it like to be helping out the community? Also, see you didn't go too easy on that kid with the block.
Couldn't go too easy. Come on. He wanted to play me one-on-one. He said he could beat me, so I threw the ball pretty far away. But it's fun when you get out in the community. I think it puts basketball into perspective. Like, those little kids had never been to a Fever game, and they were just begging to come to a Fever game. Like, I think it just shows your impact that you have in this community, but also the amazing opportunities that I've been able to have because of basketball. And I don't think people always realize, like, those interactions.
Caitlin Clark has had an amazing year. After leading Iowa to the March Madness championship game, she was selected by the Indiana Fever as the first overall pick in the WNBA draft. At just 22 years old, Clark has made a major impact in her rookie season, setting multiple records and leading the league with 8.2 assists per game. Clark isn't the only star to turn down the three-point contest invitation. Sabrina Ionescu of the New York Liberty also decided to skip the event, though she didn't provide a reason. As a result, the competition will feature players like Jonquil Jones of New York, Alicia Gray of Atlanta, Marina May of Connecticut, Stephanie Dolson of Washington, and Kayla McBride of Minnesota. Clark expressed excitement about the high level of competition, noting that many of the participants are near 40% shooters. While Clark won't be competing, she plans to be there supporting them. Both Clark and Ionescu's absences are notable since they're among the league's top three-point shooters. Clark has a shooting accuracy of 32.7% from deep and has hit 71 three-pointers this season, ranking third in the league. Ionescu isn't far behind with 74 three-pointers and a shooting percentage of 35.6%. Even though Clark is just a few months into her second season with the Fever, she's already become a target for opinions, some of which aren't even related to basketball. Despite all the outside noise, Clark is leading the Fever with averages of 16.3 points, 6 assists, and 1.5 steals per game. She says the distractions haven't affected her bond with her team, and she's staying focused on what truly matters. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to check out some of our other content currently on the screen.